Now, in recent years, tattoos have become extremely fashionable. No longer are they just for sailors and bikers, but also, it seems, for many pastors as well. So, what does the Bible say about tattoos? Hi everyone, I'm Mark Leeming from the 1 Minute Preacher, where every week I put out a short video just like this one. So if you find this one helpful, please do consider subscribing. So what does the Bible say about tattoos? Well, not a lot really. There's only one verse in the entire Bible found in the Old Testament in the book of Leviticus, where the Israelites were clearly forbidden from getting tattoos. And from this one verse, many Christians today would say, well, see, it's right there in black and white. Christians should not get tattoos. However, here's 3 problems with that. The first is that it's always advisable to have more than just one verse backing you up before you declare, "Thus saith the Lord." The second is that it would seem from the historical context that the Israelites were forbidden from getting tattoos because tattoos were associated with ancient religious pagan rituals. And lastly, this was just one of many things that the Israelites were forbidden from doing in this particular passage found in the book of Leviticus. Now, many of those things would still be applicable today. There were things that Jesus said we are not supposed to do, such as lying and cheating, those sorts of things. But there were other things in there, such as the Israelites were forbidden from wearing any clothing made out of 2 different types of material. They were forbidden from planting 2 different seeds in the same field. And they were not supposed to eat any meat with blood in it. I like my steak medium rare. So to me at least, I think it boils down to an issue of conscience, just like what Paul was addressing in his first letter to the Corinthians. The Corinthians had inquired of Paul if it was okay to eat meat that was bought in the marketplace that could have been dedicated to some pagan idol. And Paul's response was, well, if you really feel that you shouldn't be eating it, then don't eat it. But if you're okay with it, then bon appetit. Now, I could be wrong, but in a similar way, I think it's the same with Christians getting tattoos. I mean, obviously, if you feel that it's very sinful, then don't get a tattoo. But if you don't think it's sinful, you're okay with it, then on theological grounds, I can't say that it's wrong. Just as long as I suppose it's not a tattoo of a naked woman or something. However, after saying all of that, here are 2 practical things that everyone needs to seriously consider before getting a tattoo. Let me put it this way. Whenever you look at an older photo of yourself, say from a high school yearbook, and you see the way you used to style your hair and the clothing that you wore, do you say to yourself, "What on earth was I thinking?" Well, you see, that's the nature of fashion trends. Once they've run their course, if you continue to wear your hair in the same way and wear the same style of clothing, well, you're going to look like a dork. Sorry. On the upside, at least with your hair, you can always restyle it, and with clothing, you can go to the store and buy new ones. With tattoos, however, they're basically permanent. They're with you the rest of your life. And just like any other fashion trend, this whole trend with tattoos will run its course. And so what you seriously need to consider is that 10, 20 years from now, you will probably be saying, "What on earth was I thinking?" And the second reason is perhaps best summed up by what a friend of mine said to me several years ago after she went to a local beach and saw a young, slim woman in a bikini with a smiley face tattooed on her stomach. And as my friend remarked, well, in a few years, that smile will sag into a frown. As we age, our bodies tend to expand, and thus if we have tattoos, they're going to become stretched and distorted. Moreover, tattoos only seem to retain that crisp, sharp look for only several years before they become faded and distorted. And so what you need to consider, especially if you're a young woman, that if you want to get tats all up and down your arm and across your chest, well, not only will they probably be out of fashion 20 years from now, they're also, well, they're not going to look very nice. Now, in closing, and for the record, I myself don't have any tattoos, although I have entertained the idea before. I don't see that there's anything wrong with someone getting a tattoo. That being said, we should take into account what Paul said to the Corinthians, those who thought it was okay to eat meat sacrificed to idols, that they should consider the feelings and the thoughts of those who did think it was wrong. Geese. So if you belong to a congregation in which tattoos are considered of the devil, then maybe for conscience sake you should not get tattoos. We must do everything out of love. Well, hey, thanks so much for watching this video. If you haven't already, I'd really appreciate it if you would subscribe and join me next week. Hope to see you then.